Although fans love Garnett, players describe him as one of the most evil and sick players ever. From making fun of an NBA superstar's dead mom, laughing at a player for looking like a cancer patient, making his own teammates cry, to even causing his biggest fan to become his biggest enemy. There's only one man who could pull all this off. If KG ever played in today's NBA, your purple-haired lesbians would literally have called cancel culture on him. But knowing KG, he probably would have just dookied back in their faces. He's even had altercations with fans, roasted an interviewer before, and doesn't even let the workers eat food, literally slapping it out of their hands. KG was the Patrick Beverley of Draymond Greens. He used to pull up to games and tie his black Air Forces extra tight before playing with radioactive levels of aggression. However, his career almost never even happened. Despite all the iconic moments KG gave us, there was an issue in his life that almost kept him from even playing basketball altogether. It had the power of ending his Hall of Fame career in its tracks. KG came from a very strict household. He was raised a Jehovah's Witness, and his mother would warn him to stay away from anything other than his studies. This meant no basketball, which was obviously a huge issue, as that's what his dream was. Despite his mom's warnings, KG still secretly tried out for his high school basketball team. And he made it. But the problem was, he needed to get a permission slip signed by his parents, allowing him to join the team. Obviously, there was no way, no chance in hell his mom was going to sign it for him. So, he ended up having his friend sign it instead. He wasn't in the clear just yet, because how the heck was he going to play basketball without his mom finding out? Getting his slip signed is one thing, playing is a whole different thing. So what KG started doing was literally hiding his basketball in his house and even going to the game secretly. Well, that was until one day his mom showed up to one of the games. She immediately glared at him and told him he was going to get it once they got home. But as the night went on and as she got to see her son playing, she slowly became a fan and even ended up supporting him, leading to the creation of the NBA's biggest bully. He was so intense and scary, his teammates said they would literally hide from him and were afraid to be around him because of the downright insane and psychotic things KG would do. Some NBA players like Hennessy, others like that purple stuff that Lil Wayne drinks. Garnett likes mixing his Gatorade with coffee before games. He once even made up a lie that accused Dirk of calling him the no-no word.
And Dirk make a move and KG foul him. And KG like, man, f that shit. He called me a nigga. I was like, and I'm like, no, listen. So I'm like, KG, he didn't. I was standing right there. He didn't. Right. He didn't. I know he didn't, KG. Don't say that. He said, yes, he did. He said it in German.
Him hearing the no-no word got him hyped up almost as much as Boston fans were to hear their favorite word. The psychotic rituals continue. As before the game tips off, he walks over to the basket, then starts pounding his head against it and starts mumbling God knows what under his breath. It's like the CTE inside him is talking to him. That's what he was doing pre-game though. The stuff that KG was doing during the game, even more crazy. One time he had forgotten his socks, yet he still insisted on playing. He was dunking on guys, blocking shots, sprinting back and forth the entire game. When it was over, there was literally blood coming out of the front of his shoes. This man played through blood coming out of the front of his shoes while Kyrie sat out because he was afraid of needles. Disgusting. If you see a man on all fours hitting the doggy style position and start just barking at players, you'd call him borderline insane, right? Well, I'ma just call him Kevin Garnett, because he did that in the middle of a game one time. Another time after missing a free throw, he got so angry, he started to bang his head against the ball while cussing at himself. Hey, thankfully that wasn't LeBron's big old head though, because that ball would have bounced off and landed on the moon. Despite being the first person ever to give himself CTE, the DMX of basketball was literally a video game player out there. He had 99 overall defense, 99 offense, and of course, that 99 CTE energy. Garnett's the only player in history to have 25,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, 5K assists, 1,500 steals, and 1,500 blocks. Another mind-blowing stat is when a 40-year-old KG was on the Timberwolves, they had the NBA's best defensive rating while he was on the court. And when he was off the court, they had the worst defensive rating. He was 40 years old. That's past Unk age. We're talking old head status. He was so great that he even caused an NBA lockout to happen all by himself. During his prime, KG was taking on the entire USA team by himself. He was even the MVP of the league and won Defensive Player of the Year, which to this day has still only happened 5 times. For all his achievements, he got rewarded with a record-breaking contract of $126 million. That was so much money back then that even the Wolves needed to lie and cheat for it to even be possible. And that eventually led them to lose out on 5 first-round draft picks. To make matters even worse, the contract also led to an NBA lockout because the owners were so offended by the amount he was given. Despite all this outrage, KG was a pioneer because now owners drop student loan size bags on players, all thanks to Garnett. All that child support Balenci Lambo's your favorite player buys is because of this man's greatness. Show some respect, which is the last thing KG ever does, because he once called a player a cancer patient. In the game between the Celtics and the Pistons, KG and Charlie Villanueva were matched up, and after a hard foul, they started going at it. Tit for tat, bald head for bald head. Doc quickly took Garnett out of the game to prevent things from getting worse. But even from the bench, the two were still going at it in a full-blown argument now. This led to both of them getting technical fouls. In what had just started out as a small clash, it had now turned into a war. In one of the craziest tweets ever, Charlie said that he would love to get in a ring with him and he'd expose him. This left many people confused though, because worse things have happened on an NBA court, yet they still never led to this much anger. So people questioned Villanueva, and he answered in one of the most insane twists ever, which is probably one of the most diabolical and disrespectful things ever said in the NBA. Charlie tweeted that KG had called him a cancer patient, all because of the way he looks. My man is hairless, which is kind of strange though, because isn't KG just a dark mode version of Charlie? That's just friendly fire at that point. We gotta give credit to Charlie though. I know they're hairless, but at least he had the balls to stand up to KG. Other players were doing the exact opposite. One player said that KG almost made his teammate cry. While playing the Wizards, you can see KG guarding up on Blatch. After a turnover, Frozone approaches him and starts wrestling the ball away. Blatch then responds with an elbow, which only made things worse. Because, as we all know, KG played with biohazard levels of aggression. Not only did Frozone keep doing it, but he also started tormenting him. You can see Blatch walk away, noticeably upset, and later even had to hold back his tears after the encounter. Bringing a grown man to the verge of tears is one thing. Actually making a grown man cry is a whole nother. Well, not only did KG do that, but he did it to his own teammate. During a timeout, the NBA's DMX ripped into his teammates, especially Big Baby Davis, who he singled out and started going to town with, just lashing out on him. So much so that Big Baby Davis ended up crying. If disrespect was an Olympic event, KG would get gold. But sometimes this would backfire. Frozone was known for headbutting and throwing elbows. He once gave LaMarcus an elbow who slapboxed his shiny head right back. He even punched Channing Frye in his no-no square, resulting in a foul. Which it shouldn't have been because that was all ball. But this ended up causing an all-out brawl between the two teams. Imagine if you had a pack-a-punch Draymond Green and gave him some nuclear juice. That's what KD was. Every single day he went out of his way to inconvenience as many lives as possible. During a routine free throw, KG walked by and decided to elbow Big out in his mouth. Nothing had even happened. There was no rhyme or reason for this, and that wasn't enough for this crackhead. So he continued harassing Big Al. After scoring a bucket on him, he started cussing at him now. The entire time, Big Al never did anything back to him. Not one thing. Instead, he just took it like a good old boy. Frozone continued terrorizing the league. After fouling Udre, he got in his face and started mouthing off on him. Udre would just walk away without responding. Not even a play goes by, and he's throwing Artest to the ground now. Notice how he tossed him with just one arm, hit him with the most aggressive Dougie of all time. But again, Artest got up without responding. The reason why they weren't doing anything back is because if they did, they knew what would happen. After getting elbowed by KG, Zaza finally stepped up to him. However, Garnett would get it back in blood just a few games later, and he did it when Zaza least expected it. While on offense, KG set a screen in Zaza's blind spot, and just as Zaza started to run, boom! He just took his soul. You think when he became an old head, the Black Air Force energy would just stop, right? Of course it didn't. He even went after Dwight Howard, aka the muscular system versus the skeletal system. Against Howard, he threw the ball at him, and then he even went in for a headbutt. Hey Howard, you better be careful, cause KG has literal muscles growing out of his bald head. That's a lethal weapon right there, my boy. Howard might mess around and end up at a Tupac concert. Actually, it'd probably be a Michael Jackson concert because they both got the same interests. KG was fuming though and went in for seconds, moving faster than even Nick Bosa on his way to go vote for Trump. But instances like this is why people didn't really stand up to KG. He was Black Air Force energy personified. In fact, he was such a menace that he wouldn't allow any non-players to eat food. If he ever saw team doctors or other team members with a plate, he would knock it out of their hands. This was an evil man who took advantage of the weak, and this was made even more clear when he went after his biggest fan. Noah grew up idolizing Garnett. He had his jersey, he had a poster of Frozen on his wall, and even tried to copy the way he played. Eventually, Noah would get drafted, and finally in 2007 he would meet his hero, which you should never, ever do. And Noah found out, cause his dream turned into a nightmare. During their first interaction, Noah would compliment KG and ask him to teach him some moves. KG responded by telling him to get off his giggle stick, but it got even worse, cause KG also made fun of Noah by asking if he could rub his long hair like a woman. And KG didn't stop. In fact, he even started hitting Noah as he got him with a cheap shot. Him bullying Noah lasted years, and Noah would never respond or fight back. Then eventually, KG would end up doing something downright insane. In a game between the Nets and the Bulls, Noah was guarding up on KG, and this is where he made a huge mistake, cause you never, ever let crazy get that low on you. KG literally tried to bite Noah. Yeah, we're witnessing peak levels of CTE. Doctor's gonna have a field day with his brain. KG dominated the league. He's a top 5 power forward of all time, tied for the most first team all defenses, has the most career defensive rebounds, and if you still need more proof, he took the Timberwolves to the playoffs as a rookie. That alone should put you in the Hall of Fame. So these guys stood no chance against Garnett. But what about when somebody did, huh? Somebody who's not only as good as Garnett, but better. Well, we found out when Frozone faced off against Tim DUncan. KG had a history of trying to punk Duncan, from slapping him, whispering crazy things in his ear, but nothing came close to what he said at the free throw line. Tim Duncan's mom had passed away when he was really young, and right before he was trying to shoot free throws, KG yelled, "Happy Mother's Day." Yeah, KG ain't making it past Heaven's Gates. Heck, bro ain't even reaching the stairs. Duncan just responded with a smile. At least for the moment, cause Duncan would go on a tear against Garnett. In that same game, he posterized KG 3 times, 3 different facials. I can only go for 1 on my girl. He got 3. And then he eliminated him from the playoffs. But that's just him getting it easy, cause he's faced even more severe consequences, including his life being put at risk. In a game against Melo, things popped off immediately. Garnett started hitting him with one of those elbows. Few plays later, he tried to bully ball Melo now, who had enough, so he retaliated with an elbow of his own. KG said something to him, and as Melo was walking over to the bench, he said a few words of his own as well. After the timeout, KG tried to bully Melo once again, and again Melo responded, this time pushing him back. So then KG elbowed him twice, and then on top of all that, he told Melo that his wife tasted like Honey Nut Cheerios. This set Melo off. He started charging KD and going off on him. The refs quickly had to separate the two, but Melo wasn't done, not even close. And he took this to after the game. Melo ended up waiting outside the Celtics team bus for Kevin Garnett. That one Honey Nut Cheerio comment had made him irate and he wanted revenge. Which is confusing, cause why didn't he go after Sean from Power for actually getting a taste of his wife, huh? Why didn't he have the same energy for him? Either way, Frozen was nowhere to be found, as that man stayed inside the locker room, hiding after knowing Melo had circled the block. Only time Melo's ever played defense.